sir, it's Thursday, June 5th. And today I'm going to tell you a story. My ward is really early, right? Like, we meet at 8:30, and I, as someone who has insomnia, a lot of times that doesn't work well for me. So I don't go super often, but I do go to like activities and stuff like that. I have a new roommate who's awesome, and she was like, well, I hate starting to go after all the new people have already come in, because there's like that week or two where all the new people move in, and she's like, that was like a week ago, so if I come in now, it's like they're like laser focused on the new people that come in after that. And she's like, and you always get like a calling, or you have to speak or something like that, and she's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have like 3 callings, and I don't want to have to speak. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. I was like, I make this joke a lot, but almost every time I go to an activity, like 85% of the time, a member of the bishopric introduces themselves to me, and they're like, oh, like, who are you? Like, are you new? Nice to meet you. And I'm like, I've met all of the bishopric members at least twice. I think one of them I met like 4 times. I've been in the ward since September, and if I can go this long without them even knowing who I am, like, you'll be fine. So we go, and it's fast and testimony meeting, and we get done, and right after we get pounced on by one of the counselors. So he introduces himself to my roommate because she's sitting on the outside of the row, and he's like, oh, you're new? Like, have you filled out your new member form? She's like, no, I haven't done that yet. I was just trying to figure out where they were. And he's like, well, if you meet me up front, like, I'll give you one to you. And I was like, she was like, okay. And then he turns to me, he's like, have you filled out a form? And I was like, yeah, I've been in the ward for a while, so I filled out a form. And he's like, what's your name? And so he introduced himself to me again. I was just thinking, yeah, I told you they always introduce themselves to me. And then he found I'd been in the ward for a while, and he's like, well, can I talk with you for a minute? And I'm like, okay. Just thinking, like, what did I do? So he looks to my roommate, Desi, and says, I'll meet you up front. Just give me a second. And she's like, okay. So she leaves, and he's like, take a seat. And so we sit down, and he's like, so why don't you get to come very often? And I'm like, well, I have insomnia, so sometimes I don't fall asleep till like after 4 in the morning, and I don't even hear my alarm when it goes off at 7. I have like 5 alarms, and I just don't hear them. Or I turn them off in my sleep, which seems slightly more unlikely because my alarm's a little bit far away for me to do that effectively. He's like, oh, that's rough. Will you be here next week? And I was like, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, no guarantee, because I don't know what my sleep schedule is going to be like, but like, I mean, I'll try to be here. And he's like, oh, good. Because I'd like you to speak next week. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, and if you're worried about getting up, I can call you. She's like, I have to leave for meetings at about 7, but I can call you at 7 or 7:30. Make sure you're awake. So I get to speak this week. And yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't do public speaking. I'm really bad at it. And I tend to stand weird with my legs crossed, which is weird to stand. So I was like, I can't wear heels next week because I'll fall over. And I also tend to speak really fast when I'm nervous, so I'll have to over-prepare. So we'll see how that goes. But it made me feel a little bit better because my roommate rented a puppy last week, and it was adorable. Here's a puppy.
Ooh, the tag.
Yeah.
Keep being authentically awesome.